Hello, it's another sunny and beautiful day here in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, and welcome to Decision 2019, a special program where Rise News brings you up to the minute coverage of the Nigerian presidential elections with context and perspective on the most important ballot issues. I am Christian Nogodo. Thanks so very much for joining us. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, top-notch comments and analysis with unrivaled insight, hindsight, and foresight into Decision 2019, including the Osun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has declared the People's Democratic Party (PDP) candidate Isiaka Adeleke winner, challenging the victory of the All Progressives Congress (APC) and Governor Gboyega Oyetola at the September 2018 governorship elections in Osun State. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it is ready to conduct supplementary elections in 18 states of the Federation tomorrow, Saturday, March the 23rd, following the elections being declared inconclusive in 6 states, including Bauchi, Adamawa, Benue, Plateau, Sokoto, and Kano states. We'll begin, though, with the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Isiaka Adeleke, who has been declared winner in the challenge against the victory of the All Progressives Congress and Governor Gboyega Oyetola at the September 28 governorship election in Osun State. The 3-man panel of the tribunal, headed by Justice Ibrahim Sirajo, in a ruling delivered before the main judgment, held that the petition has merit and has dismissed the objections filed by Governor Oyetola, APC, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Both Adeleke and the PDP, in their different petitions, urged the tribunal to declare that he scored the highest lawful votes in the election and should be declared as winner. Oyetola, APC, and INEC, however, filed their notices of preliminary objection against the petition on grounds that the petition is incompetent, adding that the courts lack jurisdiction to entertain the petition. And for more insight and analysis behind the headlines, I'm now being joined first on my immediate left, Barrister Esther Uzoma, who is the alternate chair, Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. Esther, nice to have you on Decision 2019.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I can see the heavy sigh of relief. We'll come to that. My pleasure. And on my far left is Dr. Segun Oshinaga. He's a human capital development expert, and you were in the team of President Muhammadu Presidential Campaign Organization as an information expert or one of the media, experts.
That's right, sir.
Well, you both welcome to. Maybe I should start with you first. As a member of the APC and a neighboring state to your state, how do you view the verdict of the Osun Governorship Election Petition Tribunal? Watershed judgment, you would say? Well,
I think the judges have done their bit, looking at the evidences. My concern is that our elections need to be credible, and this is not the final verdict yet. It's still going to go to appeal. Right. So let the best man win.
Yeah, this decision wasn't a split decision. It was unanimous. And the facts of the matter were really adjudicated on if you read the judgment.
Yeah, I've read the judgment, and bravo.
Bravo to PDP. What? Bravo to Isiaka Adeleke, the dancing governor.
The Bagam governor.
Did you just say that?
Yeah, Bagam. Well, the truth about the matter is that our politics, our democracy is evolving. Largely, I mean, I don't. Why would anybody prefer a man whose only accomplishment is dancing to stop?
Very successful businessman. His only accomplishment is not dancing. He has a nephew who is even a world-rated musician.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying...
But the people made their choice.
Oh, and they're entitled
Clearly.
to it. They're entitled to it. If truly they voted for him, I say bravo to him.
So far, that's what the tribunal has declared, because in Osun State, you had even said, how could the people vote for APC when they've never paid their salaries for years?
I didn't say that.
But it's on record.
I said that it is a shame.
Yeah.
For any governor, I don't care which party, and I think we need to become matured about these things. Right. That many of APC, some of APC governors are irresponsible. Why would you not pay salaries? You collected bailout fund, you collected Paris bond.
You generated revenue.
I mean, that it is inexcusable, it is irresponsible. I don't care which party you belong to.
Fantastic.
All right, let me come to you, Barrister Esther. You know, not just a lawyer, you are very active as an alternate chair in the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, yes. You know, monitoring elections, observations, and the rest. Now, from a legal perspective, how do you see this judgment? I remembered even you people were subpoenaed by the tribunal, you know.
You see, this judgment, one thing is certain, on the face of it, it's in sync with the statements released by not just the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, by YAGA, you know, by CDD, by the international community. There was so much, you know, mudslinging in Osun 2. You know, we reported extensively. It was in Osun 2 that some of our observers were arrested. It took interventions. You know, we had to call the INEC chairman. He now had to say, release these people. They are accredited to observe. So there was some, and we talked about it. Said, listen, this cannot be going on in an election. You don't conduct elections like this. And so the courts, you know, the prophecies of the tribunal is in sync, you know, with what the observers, the sentiments expressed in the various statements issued by the observers. But it doesn't really matter. What we want is, can you just comply by the laws, that the rules for engagement?
That's the electoral rules.
For engagement. That is our concern, and that is what we watch out for at the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room. These are the rules for engagement. Can we just play by these rules? We observe the process. It doesn't matter who wins, but who complied with the process. And once there's an infringement, you know, in the protocol for, you know, for elections, we flag it and we talk about it.
Okay. One basic ingredient in this verdict that the tribunal members delivered is that INEC's conduct of what has come to be known as Osun 2
yes.
was the supplementary election is regarded as an illegality. I mean, that's a huge indictment. And sorry, and on a second note again, INEC was challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal. Where would that case have gone to?
You see, like my colleague here said, you know, these are questions of law. Issues will still be formulated for a higher court to determine one way or the other. The question of whether INEC acted in brazen illegality, that is the opinion of this tribunal. It's a considered opinion. But we also have to see it's not over yet, you know, unless the APC decides that it will rest at this. But the tribunal, it was an unanimous decision. They were decided about it. In its judgment, in its considered judgment, it is of the view, you know, that based on the evidence before it, INEC acted in a flagrant illegal manner. Now, this same conduct, these same issues will also be put before a higher order, a higher court, and then we also hear the prophecies of that court. But these are the sacred, solemn prophecies emanating from the sacred, solemn, yes, altars of the election tribunals for Osun And as it is now, it is the law. The courts have spoken.
Yeah. The courts have really spoken with a very heavy hammer, you know, the gavel really descending hard on the electoral umpire, who is supposed to be impartial, who is supposed to be independent. But from the verdict, look, for example, let me quote a section, you know, of the judgment where the tribunal said that the CTC should and must be exact replica
of what the
EC8A pink copies.
That's right, that the agents.
That the agents brought.
Yes.
How can you so fraudulently, an institution, a Nigerian institution, so where lies the trust in INEC?
It's regrettable.
Well, all I can say is that if they did not follow as the judges have said, it is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. And in the evolution,
Dr. Segun, I think you're being mild with this issue. These are critical.
No, I don't think he is.
No, Esther, Barrister Esther, these are critical indictments of state, because I know in the Nigerian civil society situation room, what you always advocate for is due process.
Fantastic.
Issues of integrity.
Very
Where is the integrity of INEC here?
If
I'm going to come to the snowball effect, that this is the ripple effect.
Yes,
this is going to happen.
Tomorrow's election.
Absolutely. But I just want you dissect INEC with this judgment, in the light of this judgment. Is it an organization with the leadership to be trusted?
If you remember on the day that it was rescheduled, the initial date for presidential election, if you remembered what President Buhari said in Daura that day about INEC not being...
Yes, he said it.
He said it.
Incompetent.
So you can see that this president is not sparing
I agree.
INEC. And I think the issue of if INEC is misbehaving, are there mechanisms by which they can be brought to book? Is there?
Who is answerable?
Are they answerable to the law? Can they be punished, or impunity? Impunity. See, the problem we have in Nigerian elections, our democracy is impeded by impunity.
I agree.
Look, both
impunity, greed, bribery, thuggery, fraud,
and all are involved.
It's a simple exercise. A simple exercise for people to make their choice. Why won't you allow them to make their choice?
You see, the problem we have is more complex.
I'm sorry, it's like I'm getting into the fray, into the arena.
Our problems are more compounded than we see. The problem is that there is so much impunity. If people in INEC know that whatever actions they take,
somebody will answer for it.
Somebody can go to prison for it. They'll be more careful.
You see,
So we need to make people pay for silly mistakes that they make. Not just saying INEC. INEC is peopled by people. INEC have people of various opinions and all of that. And bribery and corruption. People in INEC can be bribed. And you now blame the whole of INEC because one or two people misbehave.
Is that not what Nigerians say to personnel of the police force?
But that's the truth.
Do they ever have anything good to write home about, you know, personnel of the force?
You see, Chris, if I might come in, this particular, quotation about the discrepancy of the certified true copies brought by INEC and what the agents took on the field. Let me tell you, there is a prima facie case of forgery that the police should forthwith take cognizance of. Because if you had an election that a lot of political parties contested and took the signed copies, and now the court summoned you to bring your own copies, and you brought something that is
forged copies. So the police should step into this.
Prima facie.
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
Case of forgery
is established.
Exactly.
That's it.
And what the Nigerian police force does with it is what we are going to be watching out for in the coming days.
With from the situation.
The Nigerian police, this present IG has distinguished himself in many, many fronts. For instance, let me tell you one thing he did that no Nigerian Inspector General of Police has done before. When he came, request was made for the names and phone numbers of police officers who are manning particular polling units. Do you know what this IG did? He gave it. Say, this person, I posted A to polling unit B. These are the people. Never before it was shrouded in secrecy. He said, listen, these are the people. So if anything is going wrong in polling units 101,
so
this is the person
who to hold responsible.
It's fantastic. Therefore, Inspector General of Police, if you are listening to this,
oh, they are watching. If the IG is not watching, Frank Kumba is watching.
Fantastic. There's a prima facie case of forgery that's been established by the prophecies of this tribunal at Osun. You have a constitutional duty to investigate it, fish out the people. Why is that? Do you know what it means?
Forgery.
A public office issued a document, and the court told you bring the certified true copy, and what you brought is at variance with what people took. This is crazy. Listen, we are battling for the soul of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Inspector General of Police, you must investigate. No. This cannot, like you said, people who brought these documents.
Yeah.
That is why the law is beautiful. The people who crafted the Electoral Act, they know that something like this will happen. That is why they said at each PU, once results are signed, give to the police, give to party agents, and suddenly even publish the one that and suddenly at the tribunal, what you brought is not what everybody collected.
So where did they come from?
That is the lowest, grovelest.
We all know that our elections are riddled with all kinds.
Should they be so?
It shouldn't.
These are not
That is why
this is unprecedented.
That is why you have the Nigerian civil society situation. They don't sleep.
Great.
They want Nigeria's democracy to develop and be at par like any world's democracy.
We've never had it like this before.
Well, I can point to worse situations. The 2007
Where the
election
submitted.
Well, the truth about it is that this election, as bad as a lot of you painted, is still a whole lot of improvement over 2007, 2003 elections.
2015.
Listen, the truth about it is that, yes.
Did you just say that?
I did. You want to compare 2007 election with this?
So why
you want to compare?
Why did you skip 2015 and went to 2007?
Oh, well, 2015 too had its own problems. Why
That's the best judged elections in Nigeria.
Why did you skip
we judge it best?
Oh my God.
where states that have 3 million voters returned 5 million votes for a party?
Are you saying that the APC didn't win that election?
Oh, of course, the APC won, clearly. But I'm telling you, in Southeast and South, votes were manufactured beyond what was in the
APC government assumed rulership on the basis of you saying that they were manufactured.
Listen,
did you just say
listen. We all know that Nigeria.
Know.
We all know that we have problems.
You probably
know. No, we all know that we all have.
No.
Don't give me that. We have problems, and the only way we can begin to make things right is to. Today it is the PDP that won a court judgment. Tomorrow an APC government will win judgment. Fantastic. Let's stick to the facts. I don't care. Look, in APC, if you look at it, President Buhari, in places that President Buhari won with ease, governors of APC having issues, winning the same place, which tells you that our people are more sophisticated and discriminatory. In places where they voted for President Buhari, and they're not voting for the governors of the same party.
Why is that so?
Oh, that shows some sophistication.
What sophistication? Tell us the sophistication.
I'll tell you. I had a case of
the president, the ruling party's president. Excuse me. I want us to put this in perspective and context,
Okay.
all right?
This is critical.
Yeah, that the president of a ruling party would win in a state where his governor governs and the governor will lose.
Well,
how do no, sorry, excuse me. How do you reconcile it? What would have gone wrong?
I had a story this afternoon of an old lady, I think it's in one of the northern states. In 2015, she just voted Buhari's party. Say, show me Buhari's party. Presidential, governorship, everything. Because just Buhari. So many governors became governors on the cocktails of President Buhari. Now in 2019, the same people are saying, presidential, show me Buhari. I said, no, but when it comes to governorship, give me PRP, give me... No, they are picking other parties. And this is happening across Nigeria. That places where Buhari won with ease, the governors on the same platform are not winning it with ease.
Well, Dr. Segun, I think that's going to be a discourse for another day and not today, because we really want to examine critically, the implications of this judgment. Now, Barrister Esther, will this verdict, can it have a bandwagon effect on the supplementary elections tomorrow? Because there are certain ingredients in this judgment that is going to form something like a lacuna in tomorrow's supplementary elections.
All right. Number one, it's bigger. The question is huge. It's a pregnant question. Now, a lot of things are in play. Why was it necessary to conduct supplementary elections in 17 states and then 4 area councils in FCT? If you glean from this judgment, I will say very frankly that the present gladiators for tomorrow's election will borrow a huge leaf from the prophecies of this tribunal, Osun Tribunal. Now, the prophecies are persuasive. The courts are not bound to, so they will persuade the court. What it will do, for instance, for the gladiators in tomorrow's election is that they now know how to, formulate their issues. They are more acutely aware of the things to look out for tomorrow. Let me tell you, the most damaging, the juggler for me in these Osun elections is the pronouncement, the prophecies of the court that it was an illegal affair.
That the supplementary election, that the inconclusiveness declared is illegal.
However,
it's a product of illegality.
However, someone else will still look at it. But INEC, going by the INEC guidelines, going by the margin of lead principle, they are exercising their constitutional duty of organizing elections. That margin of lead principle talks about the scenarios, what will happen for INEC to say an election was inconclusive. If there was violence, any other, votes were cancelled, force majeure, and then the margin of lead, between the 2 leading candidates is less than the number of registered voters, then INEC can say, listen, we have to have, they said you don't make a declaration. That's the margin of lead principle. So by its own standards, INEC is complying with the guidelines it's set for itself in clauses 26 and 53. All right? But the implications for the tribunals is an entirely, it's a can of worms.
It is.
It is it's a Pandora's box.
Absolutely, a Pandora's box. I was going to use that word because examine the Kano situation, for example.
Whoa.
Is it the Sokoto situation? Is it the Benue situation? Bauchi?
The question...
Why did the returning officer or the REC in Bauchi, why did he delay declaring the results on Monday?
I don't think he knows.
You will have to ask them why they took that decision. See, my point in this whole thing is that I hope that by the time all is concluded, that Nigeria, our democracy would have been strengthened and grown. And we can do better next time. But let me tell you this, because of the real Pandora's box,
yes,
is that a lot of money, a lot of buying people's votes, buying people's consciences,
militarization,
all those are all compounded. And I trust and I hope that gradually we'll get ourselves out of it. And when we hear what the appeal court says, we will know. We have seen tribunals bought in this country. We have seen judges bought. True or false? We have seen judges. I mean, and
you are the only one who can answer that. I mean, if you're privy to it,
hold on.
I'm not privy to it.
Yesterday morning, the editor of, I can't remember which paper, they were doing paper review. The editor of, was it
just go on, it's all right. The newspaper review.
He used to be in government in Anambra State.
Yeah.
And he said he was aware that they were paying judges. Now, you can't deny that. So sometimes
I deny it.
You can't be a Nigerian and deny
that. That's the problem.
That judges are living way beyond their pay.
No. Now that you are even talking,
argumentum ad hominem.
That's generalization. Excuse me, Chris.
Lord have mercy.
Now that you are even talking about it.
Now, Lord have mercy.
Hang on. Now that you are talking about it,
yeah,
we all watched the drama,
the
charade.
What?
That happened with the trial of the CJN.
Thank you for bringing up that matter, because we were going to go there too.
There was everything was flying in there. But facts, I imagine, beyond the shenanigans.
Which shenanigans?
You know the shenanigans. you know, we watched the trial of High Court judges before Justice Jude Okeke. One of the profound things he said is, listen, that because you are a judge doesn't mean you are poor. We just said, listen, what is are you saying that judges are not bought in this country? Are you saying that judges were in this country when the former governor of Edo State? Are you saying are you saying
what?
That Nigerian youths are lazy? You know, you don't make those unsupported hang on. You don't make that. Nobody said
Nigerian youths are lazy.
You don't make such unsupported assertions. You don't make such. These are generalizations.
Nobody said Nigerian youths are lazy.
These are things that appeal to some people. Just if you're talking
Dr.
about.
Segun, let's just some decorum here.
Yeah.
Let her make her submission. Then you have time to do that.
All right, Dr. Segun.
Yeah.
You know, let us dwell in the area of facts.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to incite, you know, the polity and say, oh, doctors are criminals. Oh, lawyers are liars. Oh, journalists are malicious. Oh, yeah. But now when you come to the issue, in fact, on the issue of the CJN, oh, he was celebrated. Our top-notch security outfit in this country, based on him, all over the place, they say, oh, 55 houses, 100 million. And suddenly, he subjected himself to a trial. He said, we have not even verified his assets and declaration form.
No, a retired director from CCB came and said...
So if not for that, look at how sensationalized.
See how
the law is very hard. No. What I'm saying is that once it comes to facts, you know, it's easy to say that the people, judges are corrupt. That was the same thing that led them to barge in on judges against all other tenets of rule and law without no discrimination. Nothing was sacred.
And all the monies that were found in their houses.
Where are the monies? Just like the 55 houses. Where are the monies now? Don't you get it?
Dr. Segun had appealed to you to allow, we'll speak one after the other.
So where are the monies? All that sensation. Did we not hear that snake swallowed some?
Yeah.
No, where are these monies? And we are still looking for money to fund our budgets. They say, where is it now?
Oh, okay, Barrister Esther, let's not digress, you know, when we want to...
It's Dr. Segun that started it. No, you started it. Let's the first blood.
Okay, we'll wait for the second half to draw the second blood, you know, but we don't really draw blood here on this program. So, ladies and gentlemen, would be going on a short break. You're still watching Decision 2019. Plenty more still ahead. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is ready to conduct supplementary elections in 18 states of the Federation tomorrow, March 23rd. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to Decision 2019, where we'll provide context and perspective on the most important issues around Nigeria's general elections. I am Christian Ogodo. Thanks for staying with us, and I still have Barrister Esther Uzoma. The atmosphere is really charging with Dr. Segun Oshinaga. I would have said he's just an APC stalwart, this human capital development expert, you know. Now, look at INEC. A lot of criticisms, even from your own situation room, Barrister, about the issue of these inconclusive elections. You know, trying to find the lexicon whether legal lexicon or political lexicon, where it was generated from. And remember what the INEC chairman said during the presidential collation and declaration of results, that yes, some states had problems on the conduct of the elections, concluding the elections and the rest, but that it was not substantive enough to stop the collation and announcing a verdict. How are you going to reconcile those, you know, situations, the statements and the rest? It's confusing to you. It's weighty. It's heavy.
No, you see.
What's heavy about it?
No, it's heavy. You see, INEC made a judgment call. In its administrative capacity, it exercised a quasi-judicial decision because it was a judicial decision whether or not the affairs at that present moment was substantial or not. It was a question for the courts to decide. It was clearly a judicial decision.
That INEC too.
Yes, it's for the court to say there was substantial or not. It was not, you know, an administrative judicial decision. However, the facts that's at the disposal of INEC at the time it made this call is not yet in the public domain. So we can't really make a call on whether the institution made a right call or not. That is the simple truth.
But Barrister, you have thousands of observers across the country,
yes,
all the polling. So you cannot say the situation room, for example, is not abreast with what was going on the field and what the INEC chairman declared.
At the level,
I'm not putting you in a tight corner. It's something that is right in front of you.
Yes, you see, at the level of the situation room, all the observers we deployed across gave reports, you know, real time of the evolving situations. And based on the reports we were getting from them, we were releasing our interim statements. We were, for instance, we were against the over-involvement of the military. At a point, the military even overwhelmed INEC because they said, listen, this you people are doing, they will come to collation centers, they will arrest the process, you see. So we were giving real time. Now, how this pans out as per the result, we were concerned the processes were flawed, you know, and we flagged them. So, but how it comes down to numbers, you know, we're not concerned with specific numbers, but the processes were flawed and we flagged them. consistently. So, but how it passed out to, oh, it was 20, it was 30, no, we don't concern ourselves with who wins. We were looking at compliance with the process, the rules of engagement, and we flagged it today. Listen, it's over-militarized. You know, the shenanigans is just overwhelming. And it is our firm belief that once the processes are not complied with, you cannot have a result that has integrity. And that is, to that extent, we said, this is not it, this is not it. So whether or not it rises to that level, because INEC deals with numbers, really, so we can't make a call on the numbers. I think Yaga does that, but not, yes.
Okay.
I'm sure you are aware that the chairman of the tribunal gave a dissenting judgment.
Okay.
So it's not unanimous.
Of which tribunal?
Of the Osun tribunal. The chairman of the tribunal, that's the story I'm just reading here. Issue disagrees to judgment declaring Adeleke.
Can you just spare us this time, okay. All right? Okay. And let's continue with this line of discussion about INEC and the 18 state supplementary elections. What the INEC chairman said at the collation center during the presidential elections. That yes, there were please listen, I'm quoting verbatim. It's not my words, it's the INEC chairman's word. And what are we looking out for here is that of integrity, honor, of institutionalizing a process that is due and credible.
Christian, the reason why INEC has not been made the final authority on who becomes president or governor or senator is because they can make mistakes. Okay? So, but they've done their jobs. It is left for the courts to approve whether they did right or they did wrong. And even this Oshun, we still have appeal court waiting. And the APC government spokesperson has just said it will not stand. So let's wait for the final thing. As for INEC, INEC is evolving. It is still by far better than the ones we've had in the past. Okay? And so, but my issue is this. There is no way we can institutionalize good governance and the processes unless we remove for them to get away with wrongdoing. We have to be specific about punishments. INEC staff, and we've seen a bit of that. We've seen some INEC senior staff arraigned and sent to prison for collecting money in 2015. Now I'm sure that's a development that we've not seen before.
It's evolving.
It's evolving. Let's improve on that. Let there be laws that when INEC staff are caught assisting people, and that happens a whole lot, more than we all care to admit, that governors put a whole lot of money aside to corrupt the system. And if we are going to have a better democracy, a working democracy, we need to interrogate the processes and the methods and fashion out appropriate punishment for those who run foul of the law.
You see, for this to work, the rule of law, what we are basically, advocating for, and I agree with you completely, is that we should have a climate of obedience to court orders. When the court speaks, you don't say that national interest is above, the prophecies of the court, because you now raise the question: what then is national interest?
In every claim, let me answer that. There are in America, there is national interest that overrides laws. You know that.
Yes, I agree. But what is it? Hang on. I agree. But what is the national,
that is determined by the president, for God's sake.
No.
That's why he's elected.
Excuse me.
Not in America that you've mentioned.
Excuse me. You see, that is why, I'm glad you're saying this, you know. That is why we get it wrong. Mr. President is just one single human being.
Yeah.
He cannot determine what the national interest of Nigeria, and any interest, let me tell you, the rule of law is a matter of our national interest. Yeah. If you are looking for the soul of Nigeria, is in the rule of law. This is not a banana republic.
When you elect a president,
let me finish.
You trust him.
Wait now. No. There are institutions.
Yes.
There are institutions. That's why, you know, the rule of law is as old as, you know, democracy itself. The executive arm, the legislative arm, the judicial arm. Any interest that runs against the philosophy of this tripod of government is not a national interest. I beg to say it's a personal interest. One person cannot decide, not even in America, what the national interest is. Well, if we make laws for ourselves, it is in our national interest that we obey our laws, particularly constitutional provisions. Any ideology that seeks to subvert the prophecies of our court, believe me, it's not in our national interest. It's taking us to the banana republic. It is a military. Yes, that's where it's going. What is national interest? What does it mean? I'm glad you said it's the president. It is not. Let's say, make it clear. National interest, that thing called the national interest, you discover it in our laws.
There are some things that the president does have authority, that because he is privy to information the ordinary Nigerians are not. Even
the president is subject to laws.
Yeah, look at
the CJN. The head of the third arm of government subjected himself to trial. And in the light of the trial, these facts are imagined. If the court said, bail has been granted to this person, release him on bail, the first court says, if you don't obey that, you are making a mess of our system.
You are aware of those who that George Bush put in
can you excuse me, can you bring this discourse to the level here in Nigeria?
Yeah,
don't take us across the border.
You are saying even in America.
Yeah.
I am saying that there are in fact things that are in national interest, that the president who has information that the ordinary person does not have has the prerogative to say that this is beyond our law, our courts.
There's no interest that is beyond the court. There is no interest that is bigger than the three arms of government. That is what Barrister Esther is trying to let you know, or let those who abuse authority flagrantly should understand. We are talking about these 18 states now. Yes. You know, has the rule of law been upheld here first?
The court will determine that.
Okay, we agree. But can't we discuss the subject matters that have led to this?
Yes, in the wisdom of INEC, the reason you set up INEC is to be able to take decisions based on the facts before them. That only a court can say, okay, no, you are wrong. Let them do their job. At the end of the day, we will find out if they did it well or they didn't.
How appropriate is it been for INEC to be even obeying the order of a federal high court when the Constitution and the Electoral Act are clear about subjects of election, pre- and post-election matters?
That the INEC is not obeying that?
Is obeying.
Great. They should. But there are areas where they will decide what in their own best knowledge and
they want to obey and they want not to obey.
No. You see, Chris, this debacle, this quagmire where we are in, if we are battling to restore, you know, the soul of this country, you know,
where did the soul go to?
It's a sober. Look at what is happening. Can't you see? Like you were saying, impunity. You know, how can before we went into these elections, we had states. Already the army was effectively in 34 states. Before we went into, yes, they were there on all sorts of
excuses.
Yes,
crocodile tears, crocodile dance,
hang on, there was
they're doing national security job.
Let me land.
Segun,
there was
disrupting the flow
now
of this discussion.
we raised, we said, listen, the army is already in 34 states or more, all right? And then we're saying state governors, besides that, state governors also had their own security apparatus. These, yes, they were under all sorts of guise.
Okay.
Executing judgment at the pleasure of the state chief executives. There were all sorts of names.
That's sad.
Now, we talked about it before we went into these elections. And then coming into these elections, you had all sorts of people doing all sorts of things. The army released their report. They said, well, there are some military men may have been overzealous that they will investigate it. But that's in the main, particularly talking about Rivers State, that people wore army uniforms. Now, people who wore army uniforms passed 3 legitimate checkpoints before going to areas they took.
Are you saying that's not true?
That people, no, that's what I'm saying now. That's
because
people,
we are aware that governors imported army uniforms.
Look at how now, you know, in Rivers State, you now pass 3 legitimate, you know, normal army checkpoint. Wait, now let me finish. 3, you pass the first one, you are fake. You pass the first one, they let you go. You pass the second one, they let you go. You pass the third one, they let you go.
You have DSS, exactly. NIA, police, forces of the special branch.
What we're saying is this, until we rise, and largely it rests with we, the Nigerian people. Can't you see the level of the flagrant, the vulgar display?
Are you trying to incite?
Sorry, no, that's not incitement.
The people should be involved in the process of
rising.
No, when we rise, this is our Rise TV.
Yeah, and we are rising always.
So the people, the Nigerian, we must be interested in governance. We cannot leave the process of governance and politics for politicians.
Esther, the people are too impoverished. They are too cowed to even rise to their rights. As we saw, the way a lot of them were killed, the way they were chased away from polling stations. Where are the people to rise? Nigerians are not Algerians who know their rights and know how to act and will be on the street. But Dr. Segun is going to say, no, I'm going to look for school fees for my children. I have to send forex to them abroad or foods to eat.
His children are not abroad.
They are abroad.
Rivers situation. It's a very pathetic, very sad case.
Good.
Very pathetic, very sad case. And if you asked me, if the president asks my counsel, they should declare a state of emergency in that state.
So that the governor will be removed.
No,
so that the governor will be, so that you remove the governor. Is that what you are advocating?
Oh, so you've not been in this country in the last 3-4 years that people are killed?
Have they declared state of emergency in Borno State and Yobe and Zamfara?
Members with their heads cut off in a nation where there is authority and law? No. Oh, I think the case of Rivers is on its own. And look, it is militants that run that place. And what they are provoking is that the only way to effectively deal with them is the other side must become militant. And unnecessary bloodshed. Honestly, I think, in my own opinion, that they need to declare state of emergency in that state, give it 6 months for everything to cool down before you throw it open again.
Then you bring the governor back again, or what will happen to him?
Well, you know
you know the provisions to declaring a state of emergency.
The president can declare and then seek the National Assembly.
So before
authority
reverse,
for that.
If we can garner from your logic, therefore, states in Zamfara
should have been declared. I would support that.
Borno.
No, Borno is. I don't think Borno requires that.
You see, what we're saying is this: outlaws have successfully challenged the state's agency.
In
There's no longer monopoly of violence.
In Rivers, in Zamfara.
No, hang on. Before Rivers, I mean outlaws. The ones that the Mr. President considered granting amnesty. These are people who live outside the fringes of the law with delinquency so much. They say, listen, this is what we... Remember when they returned the girls? Some of them, these citizens were hailing them. People now see them as champions. And Lua Sharibu is still, you know...
She's still there.
So if we are talking about... Thank God. If you're not talking about state of emergency,
I still prefer
let's put the record straight. It didn't start with. But, however, the truth of the matter is this. Citizen participation is a panacea for excesses of the political class.
I accept that.
Yes. So therefore, even as we move on to the elections of tomorrow, Nigerians arise. Just come and participate in the process. Vote and ensure that your votes are counted. If you are not there, then it will leave room to so many misadventures. But if you are there,
why the massive deployment again of the military security agencies to these states? You know that the supplementary elections are just going to take place in some local governments, in some cases polling units. That was what we saw in Osun too. Yes. Wasn't it?
But you see,
why the deliberate militarization of the process?
But that did not start with this government. I hope you know that.
Therefore,
I hope you remember in 2014.
No, therefore,
it's an affliction. It's something we have to deal with.
So it's an affliction that you cannot purge. There is no pugnation in this government
but you should
not to copy what is bad that has gone before.
But you've not seen anything bad in that one. Most people who condemn this don't see anything bad in what PDP did in 2014.
But let us talk of, look, Nigerians have moved past that. We are now being ruled.
No, even then, it was in that period that the courts gave those judgments condemning the militarization of the process.
What time?
It was in 2015. And it was
after Buhari came in.
Hang on, no, excuse me. It was even that, I don't want to mention names now, the people who went to court and obtained that judgment against the army. I don't even want to say it, but Google can assist. Say, listen, it's wrong and it is illegal.
Yeah.
The courts condemned it outright.
Esther, lady and gentleman, we've got just 3 more minutes. Let's now, you know, give an overview of these supplementary elections in 18 states. First, from your Nigerian civil society situation rooms, and what are the expectations, you know?
Well, Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room issued a statement this morning. We called on INEC to ensure that the processes, logistics, men, materials needed, you know, and that the polls open on time. We employed the Nigerian Army to maintain their constitutional role and not to be overly involved in the process. We also called on the political class, you know, just to play by the rules. And we finally urged Nigerians to come out en masse and be involved. If you leave this process for the politicians, they will always defecate in our common pool. So moving forward, just come out, you know, and vote and ensure that your votes count.
Dr. Segun Oshinaga, very quickly.
Okay, I would forward what you said. Nigerians should come out and vote. But let me quickly put this. Our political class
which you belong,
have issues. And I think the things that give rise to this, there's too much money. You know, they say that money you can kill for. Every time there's money you can kill for on the table, human tendency, human psychology tells you they will likely kill for it. There's too much money being played by these guys. And so they will never play by the rules. As long as you know that you will become a multi-billionaire overnight, be able to dole out billions of naira, they will do everything in the book, outside the book, to win. We must deal with that.
What a way to have gains of democracy. Well, Barrister Esther Uzoma, alternate chair of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, very warm appreciation for coming there, like always. And Dr. Segun Oshinaga, well, he's an APC stalwart, but
I know you won't let that go.
he's a human capital development expert. Very warm appreciation to both of you too. Well, that's it for this edition of Decision 2019. Remember to join us for a fresh edition on Monday from me and the entire team here in Abuja. And of course, all our field men who've gone to Kano, Sokoto, Plateau, Benue State, and anywhere the supplementary elections are holding. Arise News correspondent, together with this day correspondent, are all there and would be feeding you live information on the situation tomorrow, the 23rd of March, for Nigeria's concluding elections. Hopefully, we'll be saying. My name is Christian Nogodo. Thanks very much for watching, and bye-bye.